Alright, in this video we're going to try to tackle animations, attack animations. And it can be quite tricky because we want to run some animation for a set amount of time, and there's like certain delays and things like that. It's basically some kind of complicated state machine we need to run. So I've been looking into it and I found this a coroutine concept from a guy called Randy Gore. And we're going to try to use that. So let's start by getting this file, and I think that should leave us. Instead of cute coroutine, let's just call it coroutine. And coroutine, come on. So here we go. And that is not how you use because of GitLab things, GitHub things. Okay, so I think we need to say give me the raw, and then I'm just gonna copy paste it like this. Coroutine and paste. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff here, and we're gonna be deleting a lot of it, so let's get rid of all this stuff. And you own the instance of this coroutine completely. So I think I'm not sure what the flag is for. Let's have a look at flag. He also has a talk, which you can find a link to in this GitHub. I will link it down below, where he explains things, but he didn't explain this flag thing. So the flag is set when you wait. What if we just search for flag, flag, flag? Okay, there's no explanation. Line. So I think we're just gonna try to use a simplified version. We can always go back. So I'm gonna remove this. I'm also going to remove the flag because I don't understand it, so I'm not going to include it. This stuff, max depth, max stack size, has to do with calling other coroutines inside a coroutine. We're not going to use that right now, so I'm also going to remove that. And let's try to clean this up. So there's an init function which resets all the flags. This one we can get rid of. Local variables we don't do. This one can go away. Okay, so we have a coroutine start. I'm not gonna explain how it works. It's basically some huge switch statement that uses uses some weird syntax in C. So for some reason it's using this line thing. And where is it using the index itself? Okay, so we need to change things a little bit, so we're going to switch on the index, and again here, index. So basically I think we can say, let me substitute this thing that looks at the line. Oh, it's co line co-index. That should be substituted for co-index, and it is not working. Why not? Okay, that's because we need to escape both of these. Great. So we'll get rid of this one. Okay, coroutine wait, that one is quite necessary because the coroutine here keeps track of the elapsed time since it started. Coroutine exit we need. And that one we need. This one we're not going to use right now. And okay, so I want to start just with this super simple setup, and we can always complicate it later if we need it, but I think this will be okay for now. Okay, so let's make a simple animation. And actually, before so let's make a simple animation, but not an attack animation. So let's remind ourselves what we have. We have this guy. He can move around. We have this debug view. That here it is. So let's make an animation where he like goes here, waits a bit, and then goes back. All right. So how are we gonna do that? So where do we have the update code? We have the update code in here in the drawing, which is a bit, well, the animate has to be here. The update, forgetting where it's even coming from. It's in here, that's some state stuff. So the draw, let's move the update out here. So we'll have like update code. Draw code. Okay, so I want to just make an animate demo. And let's include that here. And we're gonna have to do like this, move left, right. And what do we need to take? So we need to take an entity. And that's about it. And actually, maybe this should be here. So move left, right, and we're gonna call it on the player. Now, for these coroutines to work, we are gonna need to add this struct to something that wants to use a coroutine, which right now it's all the entities. So I'm gonna include it up here, coroutine.h, and in the entity, we're then gonna add a coroutine. Let me see. Coroutine T, and we're just gonna call it co. And also all of these macros. And let's also rename this to just coroutine. They're called coroutine something, coroutine start, coroutine case. That's a lot of writing, so it's just call it co start, co exit, and so on. And this one can also be co init. So this struct here basically holds the state of the animation. So we have the coroutine here, and when we create an entity, we need to also create a coroutine. So it's actually just like that. Okay, so the first thing you do in an animation thing is you initialize it. And then you have to start it. And let's actually do like this, coroutine T, like that. Because then I can just write co. Okay, so we started. And then we'll say, why don't we wait a bit? So we're actually gonna wait. And another thing we need is also dt. The elapsed time since the last one. Okay, so why don't we wait there's also something here, flag, we should remove that. Okay, let's see if it works. So, actually, before we do that, you can see here this co-end has kind of like a bracket, which is gonna match the start of the switch bracket, switch thingy up here. So we actually, whenever we do co-start, we need to do co-end, otherwise it's, and these have to be uppercase. So co-end the coroutine. Okay, so the first thing is, let's wait. And we'll wait 1 second. Then we're gonna, we're gonna actually set the velocity to -1. And now we're gonna have a bit of a conflict. Because if we look in here, so it's not so great when it's the player actually. So let's not run it on the player then. Let's run it on one of the skeletons. How do we get that? So in the level, we have entity, so let's take the second one. Let's take the second entity. So we're gonna say level entities 1. Okay, so then we set the velocity to this, and what then? Then actually I would like to wait until it has moved 1 square. But let's not do that right now. Let's just say we wait 1 more second. Or actually, let's wait half a second. Then we're gonna set the velocity to 0. We're gonna wait a bit. We'll set it to 1. We'll wait a bit, we'll set it to 0, and that's about it. Then we're done. And before we end, so is that what the flag is for? Coroutine end. It doesn't do anything with the flag. Okay, the flag is not for that, but we should basically set some kind of flag that says that the animation has ended. But maybe that can wait until later. So now it will just move back and forth all the time. Okay. So we set the velocity for this guy, but we don't actually update it. Okay, you know what? I also accidentally said it's the wrong place. So we're gonna animate the player and we're also gonna move the player. Let's just try to run that and see how it works. It does not even work a little bit. So it's because there's still some stack pointer stuff here, which we can get rid of. And let's try to run it. And this guy also has a flag. And one thing we need to remember is to give the elapsed time. So how do we get that? Let's have a look at Raylib. So elapsed or time. Get time in seconds for last frame drawn. So get frame time. And what's this thing? Okay, so get frame time. Get frame time. And we're gonna add that one here. And in the entity, we have to say that actually this is a coroutine. Okay, but nothing is happening. And why is that? Why is that? So maybe we don't call init right all the time, because then it's basically set to 0 all the time. Right. So what if we just, for now, we just ignore this? I think something is happening. It's just very, very... So what is the unit for this thing? Time in seconds. Okay. So that means we wait 1 second. And let's make this one 2 seconds. It's funny, so what does coroutine end do? Actually, I also want to say elapsed equals 0. Think. So it's like clearly not moving for 1. Okay, it's moving for 1 frame, because then when we call the controls, yeah, that's the problem. So actually we have to do entities 1, and then we have to say update this guy. Let's try that one. Yeah, so that's a lot better. Let's do half again. So now we can get him moving. But this code doesn't belong here. Maybe it belongs here. So see, now he automatically flips. That's pretty cool. Why doesn't he collide with things though? So if we go back to the animate demo, let's actually call it something else. Let's call it demo animate. So I have everything that's just like throwaway is very easy. To see. Okay. So let's say here walk time, and let's put it to 1 second, and then this guy will be walk time, and let's try to run it. Okay, so there's no animate demo. It's called demo animate. So he doesn't have any collisions, and why is that? And we don't need this to do anymore. It's kind of and there's actually something here. So let me. So whenever you collide, we set all the full velocity to 0, which is a bit. Well, somehow it still works. Okay, I think it's fine. But we have to figure out why the skeleton doesn't collide. And why would that be? Why would that be? Because if I remove that, nothing happens, right? Nothing happens. So we need the update code. This is very strange. What is the position of this guy? Which looks correct. What if we say player yeah, so there's something wrong with the coordinates of this guy. So let's go into controls. It's clearly some kind of scaling factor that we have gotten wrong. So how about the demo room? Actually, why is the... Okay, I will be right back. Okay, I think this is the issue. We shouldn't be doing this. We should just draw the thing where it is, but then up here we need to say vector2 add demo room position, and it's gonna be that. Same thing here. See how that works. So now he's stuck. He's stuck in the wall. What if we just like move, well, not that guy, but this guy, move him a little bit. Yeah, so that's a problem. There's a problem with the collision code. So we need to say something like collide right. That's probably upper right, lower right. Collide left is this. And then depending on the case, we have to do different things. So if we collide right and the velocity is going right, we set it to 0. If we collide left, and that makes a lot of sense. And the same thing for up and down. So let's get rid of this. And I think that's fine. Let's try to see how that works. So he's still stuck. He is still stuck. What if we break? Why is he stuck? What if we now do this? Okay, so, oops. Yeah, so we definitely cannot break here. That's not good, because then you can trick it and get off the avoid collision. But these guys, they need a little bit of less of a collision box. So in principle, we could give the entities a collision box. Which is probably somewhat the right thing to do. So I guess that would be a rectangle. Let's call it hitbox. Well, let's call it collision box. There might be a need to make a separate hitbox. So let's now add a collision box. Then we'll add it here. When we create this guy, a skeleton, we're gonna say the collision box is not this, it's actually just a little bit less. So we'll add the collision box. When we make the player, we probably, so let's say collision box, rectangle, come on, and that one actually has to be 0016, 16. Okay, we're back in action, but now we have to actually use this collision box. And actually the collision... sorry, in entity. It should not be 15, it should be tile size -1. Tile size -1. Just to... be consistent. Okay, so instead here it should be entity collision box width, entity collision box height, and the new X this is kind of the upper left corner. So actually we need to do like this. And that also means that the width here actually has to be -2. Let's see how that works. So now it can move back and forth and it kind of collides in a better way. The player still handles collision correctly. And we can even like test it a little bit further by going into the animate. And let's actually start it out by moving to the right. So it should change nothing. Because it's colliding. So let's, just for fun, let's make another one that we call patrol. And entity, come on, Copilot. So let's get this guy, and we'll say walk time is 1 second, that's fine, we started. We let's keep it a little bit more fluent. So we'll also have actually wait time. Wait time. Then let's to keep it interesting. Let's move downwards. Then we'll walk for a bit. We will set it to 0, and then it will wait there, pause there. Then we will actually move right. We will walk for a bit. We'll stop. We'll wait. Then we'll walk up. We'll walk. Stop, and finally we will go back, and that's it. So it's actually hard to read. Should probably group it like this. Okay, so now we have a patrol. So let's try to patrol the other one. Then we also have to update it. So it's actually kind of assuming that, now he's doing it. So you can see we got one guy moving back and forth, and we got one guy moving around the room. So that's pretty cool. We didn't really do attack animations, but we have some kind of animation system. And I think we'll tackle attack animations in the next video. So I will see you then.